That one thing that was brought up by someone in the audience, I'm going to go out again, but a couple of people in the audience talked about language, the part-timer comment, and, we shouldn't be referring to part-time, it should be fluid or agile working. I mean, how much do you perceive that as an issue, something that is a priority to be addressed? Is that a priority?
I talked yesterday to a guy in the tech sector, and he was saying that he worked with a business where they developed information for telecommunications sector, and they had loads of people writing script, and those guys would write amazing script and then put a simple grey button which you'd have to press to be able to analyse the information. And he said, he looked at it and he said, but nobody's going to want to use it. And they would go, oh, it's terrible, it's got all the data, you can analyse everything. And he said, but there are no graphs, there's no nice button to press. And so and these guys just couldn't get their head around the relevance of that. So what he said was he split it entirely. So he created an agile production process in a way. And so there were guys in Shoreditch, and his words were people for whom 10 a.m. was a ridiculously early start, who could make that accessible and usable, but could never have created the other end piece of it. And if you just reimagined the process, you got a stunningly effective end result. And you could think that I'm waffling and struggling to get back to the point, which I might be. But
language.
Go on, help me out.
Let me take over.
Tag team.
I think this will become different as we evolve anyway. Yeah. So we are living in such a fast-paced, developing world. The world will never be as slow as it is today again, because technology is moving at such a rate. So the next generation of kids in infant schools are growing up on iPads. Our work, we won't work in offices. We won't drive cars. There's a chance my 7-year-old will never need to learn to drive a car, and that's genuine. The first autonomous vehicles are on the road in London now. Uber have a whole load from Volvo being bought out. We will not work in as we do now, and it will never be the same. I handed my daughter a book the other day, and she couldn't see the picture, so she tried to do that. She realised instantly at 7 what she'd done, but actually she could have made the book bigger, and it was a proper thing. But it was just instinct, And yet my mum, love her, bless her, if her phone rings, she genuinely, what's that, Dev? Oh gosh, and in her early 70s. So the difference between those 7 decades is in fundamental. And I think, you're right, agile working, the way we do it is actually, it's just going to become 24/7. We live in a world now where I've always loved, you can buy pre-cut lettuce because we don't have the time to rip a lettuce leaf. We everything is now, everything has to be fast-paced. We are in danger of living in our own echo chambers where we believe what we read and we only see the people we see. But that will affect how we categorise and how we work. And almost it will move to a point where it doesn't matter what gender we are and what we believe, because we'll actually potentially only be looking down at this. So I think there's loads up for challenge and loads up for debate. I think the key for us women here is to do what feels right for us and our families, and to have those family conversations to say, do we work, do we not work? But my husband, in his business, financial services, it's not an opportunity for him not to, and that was a decision, that we had to make. But you're right, those discussions have to, and I think we're starting to have them. I hope my children will. But I think for me, I work with loads of apprentices, and I think the hardest thing for me is when I hear somebody say, oh, well, you wait until you've had kids, it'll all change then and your career's over. And that breaks my heart. Let's not hand that on. Let's not make that the legacy. Let's just say, do you know what? It makes it a little harder because you've got to manage people and you've got to look after your family. But actually, you can do what you want to do.
So there's a better opportunity for agility now than there has ever been.
Agreed.
Is crudely what certainly I think we're both saying.